What is up everybody, I'm Fox at Foxy Games UK, your regular aggregate source of news, rumour and video game discussion. The die-hard gamers among you who don't want to be last to know the latest news and rumour, well there's quite a bit in today's video, you better believe, but if you want it all first you really should be following me via Twitter at FoxyGames_UK as seen in the bottom right of your screen. All links can be found in this video's description. Okay, let's get straight into today's first news story. The speculation is finally over. Nintendo has released official sales figures for its latest uber popular handheld/tablet/home console, the Nintendo Switch. And there's some 3DS and Wii U sales data thrown in there too, just for good measure. Now this article was written and published by Tom Phillips, courtesy of Eurogamer.com. Nintendo Switch is off to a strong start, with more than 2.74 million consoles shipped during its first month of release. The company had previously made a fairly conservative estimate of 2 million Switch consoles shipped within the same time frame, an estimate that has definitely been beaten. Perhaps more impressive is the attach rate of Nintendo Switch hardware to copies of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 2.76 million copies sold on the Switch. That's more than the number of Switch units out in the wild. Now Eurogamer cites a number of possible reasons for this phenomenon: people buying Zelda with the Switch itself out of stock, or picking up copies of the special edition to keep or to sell on eBay. So if you were to factor in sales of the Wii U version, Zelda Breath of the Wild has sold at least by now a whopping 4 million copies. At the time Nintendo accounted for its sales, the figure was around 3.84 million copies. That's incredible for an ailing platform found in the Wii U and a recently released and still as of yet untested Nintendo Switch. Seems people can't get enough of this portable thing. So sales of the launch title minigame compilation 1-2 Switch were not disclosed. However, Nintendo simply noted the game had been generating buzz. I seriously doubt 1-2 Switch had sold anywhere close to Zelda Breath of the Wild, but development costs of 1-2 Switch must be so comparatively low. The game has probably already made the money back for Nintendo 10 times over. So Nintendo detailed the numbers in its 2016 sales report published this morning, which also painted a positive picture of the 3DS. 3DS hardware sales rose year on year, buoyed by Pokemon Sun and Moon's launch in November. 7.27 million 3DS consoles were shifted over the last 12 months, making for a life-to-date total of 66 million. Pokemon Sun and Moon sold a whopping 15.44 million copies, while Super Mario Maker for 3DS sold just over 2.34 million. Nintendo did not disclose download numbers of the revenue for individual mobile games, although its smart device income rose significantly year on year from 5.73 billion yen, that's 390 million GBP. Up to an astonishing 24.25 billion yen, that's 169 million GBP. Finally, Wii U sold 760,000 units during the last 12 months, a decrease of 77% year on year. As focus shifts to Switch, Wii U ceased production before Christmas, meaning its current lifetime total of 13.56 million is likely to be its final amount. And finally, looking to the future, Nintendo expects 10 million more Switch consoles to be sold over the coming 12 months, alongside 35 million Switch games. Nintendo also expects to shift another 6 million 3DS consoles and 40 million 3DS games. So there you have it, some interesting details in the article. As usual, I'll give my opinion and my takeaway from all of this. So here's the thing. If Nintendo can indeed shift a further 10 million consoles shipped, not sold, then Nintendo Switch would have already outsold its big brother, the Wii U, and all within the console's first fiscal year on the market. That would be simply astonishing if the company were able to pull it off. Now Nintendo Switch is surpassing everyone's expectations, not least Nintendo's own. Now the momentum doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, and Nintendo are enjoying a renewed buzz around their products that the company hasn't really experienced in a while. Now, off the back of the global Switch sales phenomenon, industry writer Takashi Mochizuki at WSJ Tokyo recently tweeted sales predictions from the Macquarie Group suggesting big things for Nintendo's future. Macquarie predicts that the Switch will sell 14.5 million units between March 2017 and March 2018. This is higher than the previously estimated 11 million units. Now Macquarie also estimated that on average, players will own around 3 games per system, up from the just under 2 per system average they previously predicted. Interestingly, and not without an unhealthy dose of salt, the Macquarie Group also suggests Monster Hunter 5 and Dragon Quest XI will be launched in the spring of 2018. In spite of Square Enix's reassurance that Dragon Quest XI will be out late 2017. Now Macquarie are in affect suggesting Dragon Quest XI could be subject to a Zelda Breath of the Wild-like delay. Of course, some of you will recall Nintendo swearing left, right and centre that Breath of the Wild would release in 2016, and we all know how that worked out. But the Nintendo Switch rumour mill doesn't quite stop turning there. Rumours point heavily to a Wii U port of Bayonetta 2 heading to the Switch. Apparently, the port has been handled by a European company who have handled ports for Nintendo before, and that we can expect additional modes a la Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, possibly a 1080p mode in docked mode of course, and a locked 60 frame per second rock solid frame rate. And if that wasn't enough, rumour has it, Platinum Games have been quietly beavering away on Bayonetta 3 exclusively for Nintendo Switch, a game commissioned and funded by Nintendo of Japan. This lends a little more credence to Platinum Games themselves teasing looped Bayonetta footage where the protagonist has been seen firing her pistol 3 times. The footage just repeats the same loop over and over, 3 times. Kinda what looping does, leading many to suggest Bayonetta 3 is definitely on the way. This may also lead to hints from Reggie Fils-Aimé regarding Nintendo's big E3 plans, said to be the most significant E3 for the company ever. However, one would be wise to temper expectations, as you never quite know what to expect from Nintendo. But with the wave of momentum, consumer and investor confidence, the increase in sales predictions, it's still virtually impossible to find a new console on retail shelves. Then there's the increased attach rate predictions, could suggest Nintendo may have some killer apps hidden from the eagle-eyed gamers ready for a grand reveal at June's E3 and the company's own Nintendo Direct. But it's not all about Nintendo Switch though, as the aging 3DS Portable is holding its own and still making a tremendous amount of money for Nintendo. But in terms of Wii U, it's certainly curtains for the platform, so don't go expecting any significant software support for the console going forward. Now with both the 3DS and Switch selling so well, Nintendo may find themselves in a bit of a corner, since the company will need to keep the momentum going with Switch. But if the same games are made available for both systems, which share some similarities in that you can both use them as portables, this may have a negative effect, with some consumers wondering why they even need to buy a Switch if they can get the same games on 3DS. Hopefully that won't be a problem. Of course, the next Pokemon game needs to be released on Switch only if the company are to increase the new platform's desirability and maintain its popularity. We kinda saw the knock-on effect 3DS had on the Wii U, with some software sales such as Super Mario Bros. Not selling to its full potential on Wii U because it was also available on the 3DS. Is it sustainable in the long run for Nintendo to support 2 handheld type devices? Time will tell, but it's an unnecessary risk for Nintendo to take. Nintendo Switch fans have a lot to look forward to, with the Virtual Console finally rumoured for deployment on or around the same time as the E3 briefing, set to feature a strong focus on the best of the back catalogue N64, GameCube and Wii games. Switch ports of Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Bros., Twilight Princess and Metroid Prime are leading the GameCube charge. Very nice indeed. And in other news, courtesy of WCCF Tech, Activision finally showed off first-person shooter Call of Duty WWII with a seriously visually impressive reveal trailer running in-engine from the PS4 Pro version of the game. Now following the trailer, some developers from Sledgehammer Games revealed more information about the game. The vision for art is dark and beautiful, dark for the emotional tone and beautiful for the locations. Studio head and co-founder Michael Condrey said during the live stream that Call of Duty WWII's multiplayer will go back to the boots on the ground fast action gameplay the series was originally known for. Sledgehammer also promised that the game will reward gun skill and strategy, while adding that there will be great innovations to elevate the player experience. The campaign will mostly be played as Private Red Daniels, played by Josh Duhamel of the Transformer movies fame, as a young recruit joined by his best friend Robert Zussman, played by Jonathan Tucker. Their squad will go through the theatres of France, including the liberation of Paris and Belgium as part of the Normandy invasion push, while coordinating with French resistance leader Rousseau and British Intel Forces Chief Crowley. The multiplayer will be revealed at E3 2017 in fine fashion and as usual, but these 3 brand new features were confirmed. War. This is a narrative-driven, objective-based, asymmetrical mode, bringing gripping new layer of excitement versus Axis and Allies team play. Now, Divisions, a fundamentally new approach to creator class and character customization as you enlist in a division and progress through the ranks. And finally, Headquarters, a brand new social space for Call of Duty where you will rally and interact with your fellow soldiers. As we've come to expect from the series, Call of Duty WWII will feature a separate co-op standalone story confirmed to be zombie themed. Call of Duty will launch for PC, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on November 3rd. And finally, it looks like Resident Evil 7 and Dead Rising 4 did not meet Capcom's sales expectations. Resident Evil 7 is considered one of the best Resident Evil games to date. And while it has recouped its development costs, it did not meet Capcom's sales expectations. The same applies to Dead Rising 4, a game that has so far sold so poorly, not even coming close to the lower end of Capcom's sales expectations on Xbox One. As Capcom noted, Resident Evil 7 gave a fairly solid performance, so it was unable to meet sales expectations. Furthermore, re-releases of the Resident Evil series performed steadily thanks to a stable fanbase for the brand. On the other hand, however, Dead Rising 4 was released on December 6, 2016, but has seriously underperformed. Capcom expected to sell 4 million copies of Resident Evil 7 and at least 2 million copies of Dead Rising 4. So far, Resident Evil 7 has to date sold a respectable 3.5 million copies. Unfortunately, Dead Rising 4 has yet to even break through 1 million copies. Though once the 1-year Xbox timed exclusivity ends December 2017, perhaps the PS4 release will change its fortunes. Maybe. Now that's all the news we have for today. Go ahead and let us know in the comments what you thought of today's top news stories, bringing us to the end of another video. You can count on Foxy Games UK to keep you in the game and keep your eyes glued on this channel for more news, rumour and video game discussion. If you found any of the information in this video at all useful, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe and share the video. You can also help us grow by supporting us via Patreon. Starting from just $1, you'll find the link in this video's description. And always remember, play games, not corporations. Until next time, thanks for watching, everybody.